Episode 4 of Whiskey on the Rocks begins with Soviet Ambassador Alexandra Kosygina arriving to meet Falden as planned. However, the process is far from smooth, as the Swedish foreign minister complicates matters by adding more terms and conditions to the Soviet request to install a radio mast aboard the submarine. Meanwhile, in an unexpected twist, Lagerkrantz takes matters into his own hands and installs the radio mast himself to investigate the presence of nuclear material inside the submarine. He discovers traces of uranium and immediately seeks out Falden, urging him to declare war. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Yuri Andropov assumes the role of acting general secretary after sending Brezhnev off for a nap, after Brezhnev mistakenly identified the submarine's location as the South China Sea. Andropov instructs Alexandra to inspect the submarine and confirm the crew's loyalty to the Soviet Union. Elsewhere, Lagerkrantz storms into Falden's office, ready to initiate an all-out attack. However, Falden physically confronts him, firmly warning him to stand down and reiterating his commitment to resolving the situation through diplomacy. Alexandra, accompanied by the Swedish commander, boards the submarine. She finds Captain Peskin in a completely trashed state. When she speaks with the lieutenant, he reveals a very different version of events, blaming the navigational error on Peskin's drinking habits. The lieutenant, desperate to save himself, agrees to comply with whatever Alexandra wants, on the condition that she arranges for him and his family to relocate to Sweden. The Swedish commander is denied access to inspect the submarine, but Alexandra requests more time to allow this. As Alexandra and the Swedish commander return from the submarine, NATO forces advance and stop just a kilometer from the Soviet vessel. This sudden move alarms the Soviet forces, who prepare for an attack. As expected, the show has reached a dramatically tense moment, with all parties on the brink of all-out war. Ironically, most of the stakeholders seem motivated by personal agendas rather than genuine political or military concerns. Peskin is willing to escalate the situation to save his family. Lagerkrantz is driven by his personal vendetta against the Soviets stemming from generational trauma, and the submarine lieutenant is eager to negotiate his escape to Sweden to save his own skin. This absurdity remains a cornerstone of the show's tone, effectively transforming a tense Cold War event into a satirical yet stressful political comedy. By leaning into the ludicrous nature of these personal motivations, the series offers a sharp critique of the complex dynamics behind political and diplomatic events. Talking about the humor, instead of its initial outright and recognizable satire, the show now leans into delightfully witty jokes and nuanced dialogues that demand some historical context. For instance, Peskin's lament about a German-speaking Swede on board the submarine is a subtle joke that reflects the tense relationship the Soviet Union shared with Germans and Western nations at the time. So far, Whiskey on the Rocks excels as a dramedy, reconstructing the bizarre fiasco surrounding the Soviet submarine's unexpected presence in Swedish waters. Additionally, it brilliantly satirizes the often performative nature of diplomacy, highlighting how it can sometimes feel like a massive image management exercise where no party wants to appear weak, even if it's for the sake of world peace.